Okay, so usually I have shared with you this refine, okay, of group assignment. So it's not a refine. Actually, I provide some clarifications, okay, to the assignment so that make it you more clear, okay, of what we are discussing for the group assignment too. Yeah. So usually in this group assignment, okay, we discuss on accountability. So just now I have you on accountability so that you have ideas why the accountability is significant. Okay, how do the accountability be achieved? Yeah, and then what are the issues surrounding the accountability in the Malaysian public sector? Yeah. Okay, so if you look to this, okay, so what you need to do is there are two things. Okay, number one is for you to select okay one newspaper, okay, and that newspaper okay must be within 2022 and 2026, but the recent the better, okay, because it is a newspaper. Yeah. So what you need to do, okay, you find a newspaper related to the public sector accountability and transparency in the financial management. Yeah. And then the issues, okay, maybe you can lead, okay, or maybe you narrow down the news maybe to the integrity breaches, yeah, misuse of public fund, procurement irregularities, yeah, ketirisan just now, yeah, audit findings, they are all accepted. Yeah. And then what you need to do, you need to explain the issues, okay, from the news. Okay. So explain in your own understanding. How did you find the articles? Okay. How the articles talk about. Yeah. So provide your critical comments, okay, and also gaps, okay, by relating the discussions to the governance, okay, to the ethics, and also to the relevant public sector rules and regulations. So from the news, okay, you link to governance, ethics, and also regulations. Yeah? Whether that happens, maybe some gaps, okay, in our regulations. So I think that's how you should interpret your understanding. Yeah. Okay, that's number one. Okay, so number two, okay, select five recent research articles published between 2024 to 2026, okay, from the Google Scholar, WAS, and also Scopus. Okay, they are relevant to both, okay, the selected news article and the broader topics of public sector accountability. Yeah. So remember these five articles, okay, should relate to your news article, okay, news article, and the broader topic of public sector accountability. Let's say that your articles you pick is about integrity in custom officers. So when you select the research article, you may select article related to custom, which is on integrity, but you can also pick other integrity issues in the government. But they should be in the same umbrella. Okay, the same umbrella, because later on you have to do gaps. Okay, so it's very difficult for you to to search on Gap if the article is not in the same uh, or not sync, okay, together. Yeah, right. So okay, so one Roman front cover. I think I have provided you the front cover, acknowledgement, table of content, introduction. Okay, so start from point number four. Okay, so the introductions of public accountability. So in this section, you just need to define. You define the public accountability concepts. How do you see the what is a public accountability? Okay, how do you see the accountability should be in the public? What types? Okay, so it is from your own understanding. So when this public accountability, you must have references. Okay, you must have a source where you refer to define the public accountability. Yeah, that's number four, Roman. Yeah. So number five, you have to explain the current issues. Okay, the current issues which the newspaper that you have selected. Okay, so you may paste the newspaper and after that you do the summarizations. Okay, bukan you copy sebiji daripada newspaper, you summarize what have you seen from the news. Okay, and then after that you link the news to the governance, to the ethics, to the regulations. Yeah, that's number five. Number six, you review research articles. Okay, remember you have to select five articles. You review the research article based on uh, instruction number two. Okay, which you have to put in table. Yeah. So I believe that most of you have registered. Okay, your article. Okay, in the Google Sheet, right? Okay. So hopefully, the one that you put in your assignment is also similar to the one one that you post in the Google Sheet. Yeah. So ensure that the objective, the methodology, okay, the finding are all the same, okay, in the Google Sheet. So if you amend in your report, you also need to amend in the Google Sheet, because if you look to the point number two, I also require you to submit the Excel table, right, in the Google Sheet, but uh, you don't have to submit the Google Sheet because you already updated, okay, in the sheet that I provided for you. Yeah, but just to make sure that your report in the Google Sheet is synced, okay, the information is synced. Yeah. Okay, so next, comments on the current gaps. So this is very critical, yeah, because I need you to comment on the gaps that you found from the newspaper and the gaps that you also found from your research articles. Okay, so let me give you some analogy. Yeah, so let's say that the news, you found that in the news there's a breach of the breach of the government act, for example, and then you found in the article lack of discussions have been talking about this act. So when you comment on the gaps, you were saying that even though the public accountability is a very biggest issues, but the focus of the research is not really there. I mean, that's how you should address, okay, on that matter. So again, this is based on your critical thinking, okay, based on your understanding. Okay, I cannot provide you example, otherwise you will copy and paste. Yeah, so I wanted you to immerse, okay, to that particular article, and then you give your own view. How did you see on that issues? Yeah. Okay, so that is for 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Conclusion, you can provide some recommendations. Okay, your summary of what you have done. References, I know you know how to do it. So appendixes, okay, so what you need to put in appendixes is actually your research article. Yeah. First page of your research article, put in appendix. One image, one appendix. So meaning that you have 5 appendix. Appendix number one is article number one. So paste the first page of the journal. Okay, first page of the research paper, not the first page of the journal publisher website though. Yeah. So remember, okay, some of you snap the website, you put in the report. No, I need the first page of the research article, put in your appendix. Yeah. But the news you put in your section 5. Yeah. Your news, you screenshot, okay, you put in your uh, article number 5. Sorry, instruction number, sub point number 5. Okay, so use proper citation, okay, font, okay, and then okay, so I also provide you the rubrics. So what I provide you the rubrics so that you are aware that how the marks is given. Yeah. So usually if you look here the criteria number one, you need to define, yeah, introduction the public accountability. Yeah. And then you have instruction one, okay, instruction one, 5 Roman, yeah, 6 Roman, okay, and also 7 Roman, yeah, 7 Roman with the gaps. Ini yang paling critical, okay, which is on the gaps and also the critical thinking and how original your discussions. Okay, other discussion are so generic. Okay, and then after that, conclusion and recommendations, okay, and also your references, okay, citation and also references. And the last one, okay, once you submit, I will run the Turnitin and also similarity index on AI, yeah. So if you found to be more than 10%, then you got 0 lah, okay, for criteria number 10. Okay, if less than 10%, and then I will straight away give you 5. Yeah. So make sure that you also check for the plagiarisms, okay, of your write-ups. Yeah. Okay. Why I check on this then? Because I want your own words. Okay. I don't want the AI. Okay. Even though you can go AI to give you some ideas, but I need the clarifications. Okay. I need the way you write the sentence from you yourself. Again, be original. Okay. Be the versions of you. Yeah. All right. So let me show you, this is actually a sample, okay? Sample given by your friends. So it's nothing got to do with you, okay? It's just for me to show that what are the areas that you might be possibly do errors. Yeah. Okay, so if you look to this table of content, so in this case, okay, your friend didn't have acknowledgements. Okay, so you're supposed to have the acknowledgements. Yeah, okay, in your table of content, you must have a table of content, acknowledgements. Okay, or some using preface. Yeah, so make it more formal. Okay, when you submit the written assignment, it has to be like a books. Okay, All right. And then don't use all capital letters, okay, like your friends. So all capital letters. Okay, so you only use capital letters only for heading, okay, heading. But for the content, we don't use the capital letter all the times, yeah. So if possible, remove all these bullets. So remove all this dot, okay, no need this dot, yeah. So if you are using this via format, so please pick the format that doesn't have this dot, yeah. Okay, and then your friend also don't really check their alignment, okay, remember, so this alignment, this number 2.1 supposed to be to start at the 2.0, 2.1, 2.1, yeah, okay, otherwise, okay, you have to arrange it nicely lah. So that you can have a space, yeah. So make sure that it is readable, okay, it is a readable of table of content, yeah. All right, so let me go to the next one, introductions of public accountability. So if you see here, okay, your friend has rojak, okay, the public accountability, which is the SO explain the news. Okay, remember I mentioned, okay, the introduction of public accountability is just a definition and concept, okay, how we define accountability in the public sector and how do this concept emerge, okay, how the accountability should be in the public sector. So it's just a concept so that you are understand what is the meaning of accountability and how do the accountability being applied, okay, to the public sector. Okay, so no need to explain about the news that you have selected, yeah. So you always need to focus, okay, to the definitions and the concept and also the context of the public accountability. If you want to say thank you to me for providing all the blah blah, you put in acknowledgement. Don't put in introductions. Okay. If you know wish your parents that helps you to do this assignment, put in acknowledgements. Yeah. Okay, so remember, this is just a concept, the context, the definition. So when you give definition, you must also put citations. Where did you get that definition? For example, your friend mentions here, this framework of accountability is based on three pillars: transparency, integrity, and compliance. Are you referring to which sentence? Are you referring to which source? Are you referring to which references? Okay, or maybe this is just from ChatGPT. So I need you to state. Okay, so maybe according to the policy of blah 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 blah, accountability be defined as what? So I need it to be very clearly. Yeah. Okay, so that's point number one. Yeah? So I mentioned there no citation. Okay, no source of public accountability. Yeah. Okay, so point number two, okay, the current issues, okay, of public accountability. So the news, basically, this is the news. Yeah. So remember your alignment, okay, you should drag this 2.1, okay, below 2.0. Yeah. So the first one on the case background, you may paste your news. Okay, so you cram the news, okay, and then you put in your case backgrounds, okay, or maybe newspaper background, or maybe you want to straight away put the title, maybe the integrity, or maybe the breaches of the government contracts. So that's just put 2.1, okay. Okay, so maybe 2.0 you can put according to the assignment. Okay, for example, if you look to the assignment, okay, the mentions here is current issues, okay, of public accountability. And then 2.1 would be the title of your newspaper. Okay. Can be the title, can be maybe some summarization over the title, because title is very long, right? Okay. So maybe you can just digest it and then put it into words. Yeah. So that's 2.1. Remember this 2.1, you paste your newspaper and then after that you summarize it. Okay. You summarize it. Yeah. Do not copy from the news and then template the alumni. No. Okay, I don't want you to just template the news. I need you to summarize on your own words. How did you get the news? Yeah. Okay, and then 2.2, okay, your friends, okay, put governance issues, okay, and then ethical issues and also the public sector rules and regulation. This one can be just in one paragraph. You can combine all these three: governance, ethical, regulation into a paragraph. Okay, so no need to split 2.21, 2.22, 2.23, and so on. Yeah. Okay, and then your friend just now, okay, if you see the paragraph is not synced, right? Okay, ada yang 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ada yang 9 line, ada yang 2 line, okay, ada yang uh, 5 lines. Yeah. So make sure that your paragraph should be similar. Okay, if you are using 10 line in one paragraph, then the others also should be 10 line. Okay, if you use 7 line in one paragraph, the rest also should be 7 line in one paragraph. So that it looks more consistent, it looks more professional. Remember, accountants are professionals. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So your friends also mentioned this app, okay, which initially is good, okay, initially it's good, but somehow when I read, it become unclear as well, okay. So you mentions about MACC 2009. So which section in MACC 2009 that link to this case? Okay, your friend mentioned public officers regulation 1993. Which section in that public officers 1993 which contradict to this case? So you have to mention. You cannot just generically mentions. Okay, it has to be justified well. Okay, why you say that there's a loopholes or maybe there's a gap in the current regulations so that the news happen again. So it needs to be well crafted. Okay, for that matter. Okay, so far okay for this question. All right. Okay. So after this, I open for the Q and A. Yeah. Okay. So let me put here. So I write. Okay. So I put. In our opinion, this case represents it. No need to mention your opinion because I know that this write up is from you. Okay, you don't have to mention in our opinion. We think that no need to inform that. Okay, because this manuscript is from you. You are the one who provide this write up. So you just straight away mention. Okay, so this case blah 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 what. Yeah. So from my reading, I found that it is not interesting. So please make sure that when you give the write ups, okay, is something that if you think that you want to put in infographic, also possible. Okay, but make sure that the infographic that you run from the AI, okay, is actually correct to the news. Because sometimes AI also sometimes AI also generate the information which sometimes also contain errors from the original news. So please make sure that if you want to use the infographics, so you also need to double check. Yeah? Okay, so I also put it here. Okay, what's the focus? Okay, that you can provide based on the case. Okay, the focus meaning that what is the gist? I need to know what is the gist of the news. Okay, I know that the news is about integrity issues. Okay, I know that the news is talking about someone breached the act, but what's the focus? What you trying to explain? What is it become your concern? So that's the thing that you need to put when you mention the gap between the regulation, between the government, between the ethic. Why is it so significant? Why we must concern about the news? Can we just avoid it? Can we just abandon the news? So that's how you should explain. Yeah. Okay. So let me move to the review of research articles. So your friends basically they provide tables, yeah. But in the table, okay, there's no table name. So table, figure, infographic, you must have the figure one title, table one title. So before you come up with this table, okay, so put some sentences here, yeah. So table 4.1, okay, explained the review of the article selected. Then masukkan the tables. Yeah. Okay. So I know this table. Okay. You have a lot of things that you want to put in the table. Okay. Okay. For example, title, author, yeah, objective. So this objective. Okay. No need to copy directly from the article. You can just put point form. How many objective in the research paper? Okay. What are they are doing? So you just put point number one, what's point number two is what, because different paper, different research objective. Yeah. So methodology, okay, if you can simplify it, simplify it. Yeah. So the finding, this finding cannot be direct copy from the article. Okay, I need you to summarize. And you don't have to link this finding to the newspaper. No need. Okay, no need to link. You just provide the finding of the article. No need to link this finding to the newspaper that you have selected. No need. It's not required. Okay, I just wanted to know the pure finding of the article that you have selected. Okay, you just give 4. But make sure this finding is a very concrete finding, okay, that most significant, okay, in the research paper. Yeah. So when you have this article, so try to link this article to the online sources. So kalau saya klik ni, I boleh hyperlink. So it's better for me to have the hyperlink so that when I click, okay, and then I can jump to your article. Yeah. So if possible, please do hyperlink. Yeah. Okay, so I also give bullets because I think the finding not really explaining on what the article about. For example, this one, your friend mentioned the use of digital tool. What tools? Yeah, so tiba-tiba ada extra bullet. So I mean, like you have to be very careful, okay, when you provide the report. Why is it so important? Because later on, when you do the practical, you also need to prepare the reports. Yeah. So reports is very important. It's not saying that your boss or me myself are very fussy, but the reports will be the instrument for us to understand the context. So it has to be properly prepared. Okay, so that you have to check one by one. You cannot just simply combine all the work of your friends, combine into one PDF, and then send to me. Okay, so I can see the inconsistizations. Yeah, so the report should be consistent. Yeah, the word should be consistent. So once you combine, you also need to reread again. Okay, the synchronization from one paragraph to the other paragraph. Okay, so the comments. Okay, so I need you to go to the comments. So in this comment, you don't have to do it separately. So this comment should be together. Yeah? So means that in the comment, maybe you have 2 to 3 paragraph. Okay, so this comment you must link the newspaper and then 5 articles that you already read. Okay, so try to comment on the gap in these 5 articles. What are the main content? Okay, what are the main directions or not? So this is the critical thinking should be used, okay, for you to comment on the gaps. Yeah. So 4.0, I don't give you example because I wanted to see that how critical you are thinking on relating the news as well as the research paper. So that's the reason why I mentioned to you the research paper that you selected must be in the same umbrella. Okay, if you are find the article which not really synchronized, then there will be a problem for you to write in the gaps. Yeah, so try to find the article that having the similar taste in the sense that you talk integrity, all the article related to integrity. You talk about breach of control, all the articles should be on the breach of control. You talk about the factors that leads to corruptions, all the 5 articles should be factors lead to corruption. The news also need to relate to corruption. So there is synchronizations. Yeah. So that's it will be easier for you to comment on the current gaps. Right. So the last one, conclusions. Yeah. So remember, okay, your friend nampak ni, tiba-tiba ada 2 pula line. Yeah. So the paragraph is not well crafted. So and then you punya alignment, you have to mention, you have to really concern about the alignment. Dekat mana you nak tab, dekat mana paragraph and so on. So um, conclusion, they start with it has been proven. So not a good sentences. We don't start with paragraph with it. So you must start at least public accountability is crucial to the governments. However, from the news, it shows that there's still a loopholes. I mean, like the way you write, it has to be professional, not it has been. Cannot start with it has been. So in these conclusions, okay, you will conclude the articles, you conclude the news, and also you conclude what are the necessary things, okay, or you need to emphasize on things that you need to, that the government have to do, which is your recommendations. So in this case, I need recommendation. But again, the recommendation cannot be so generic. Okay, I know that some of you are using ChatGPT to run the recommendations. Okay, for example, your friend mentioned to change governance in the public sector, institution need to move from paper-based to automated real-time digital audit system, which can immediately alert to transaction anomalies. Moreover, road ethics training should be supplemented, okay, by behavioral models that define the negative workplace dynamics and reinforced by provision. I know that this sentence are from AI, not from you. Okay, because there's no humanity in that sentence. Yeah, I know it's so generic. Okay, I know it is totally from ChatGPT. You put it ChatGPT and then you take it from ChatGPT, you dump into your assignment. You may use, okay, as I mentioned, no harm to use the AI, but try to absorb, okay, try to reword and humanize the sentence so that it looks like the human thinking, okay, on giving the ideas. So I give you an example, okay. Your friend mentions here is to use the rotate ethics training. So you put one, okay. So meaning that you're saying that the training awareness shall be held regularly. You need to mention what kind of training to who, what are the contents of the training. So you have to be precise. You may recommend three things, but you recommend it very complete. Ya. Bukan you sebut you ada 10 recommendation tapi 10 tu very generic, very general. So I cannot detect what are the contents of the recommendation. So it is enough for you to suggest three recommendations, but you suggest it clearly. Okay, for example, you mentioned training, you mention what kind of training, to who the training should be done. Okay, what are the contents of the training? Why is it so significant to have training to combat under corruptions? Did you get what I mean? Nampak tak? Yeah, that's how you supposed to make it your recommendation clearly. Yeah. All right. So and then references. Okay. Your friend show the references. So apa yang kita nampak dekat these references? What did you see? Nombor satu apa yang you nampak? The font size, right? The font size, the font types also not similar, meaning that you don't check. Okay, so you nampak ni. Yang ini you guna Times New Roman, yang ini you guna Arial. So I would say that you don't check before you submit. So cannot, okay, as an accountant, cannot. You cannot do like this. Okay, it has to be properly check, okay, before you submit the annual report. Annual report cannot contain mistake. Okay, annual report cannot contain glaring mistake. Annual report cannot have issues of formatting. Okay, it has to be complete. Okay, it needs to be perfect. Okay, even though human is not perfect, but you have 5 in the group, so it's very possible for you to reach perfections. Everyone can check. Otherwise, you don't check, then there will be issue lah. So the references you need to sort alphabetical order. Okay, okay, and then style. Yeah. So when you what okay what you also need to put the citation, yeah, especially on newspaper. You also need to put here. Okay, let me go to what's that? If you go to the assignment, yeah, there's a word count. Let me open the assignment. Okay, so if you go to the assignment, there's a word count, okay, which you need to produce 3,000 to 3,500. Okay, a moment, let me share. Okay, can you see the slide? Okay. All right. So 3,000 to 3,500 pages. So if you found that your words is not reached 3,000 or 3,500 words, you may add on paragraph. Okay. You may add on paragraph. So maybe you think that the gaps, okay, you have lots of things to explain on the gaps. Yeah. So instead of 2 to 3 paragraph, or maybe in the gaps, okay, you explain 4 paragraph, okay, because you have the word count. Okay, so again, okay, I'm leave it to you lah, okay, for you to do some adjustments over your words. Yeah, okay, 3,000 to 3,500 words. So it is up to you, but at least you know that how should the content be looks like. Yeah. Okay. So appendixes, okay, what you need to do appendixes are again one article, okay, one article, first page of your article, you put it into appendix. So meaning that one appendix, one article. So you have 5 appendix lah at least. Okay, you have 5 appendix. Appendix 1, article 1, appendix 2, article 2. Okay, until appendix 5. Yeah. So news you put in your write up. Okay, you screenshot put in your write up. So if you see that the news, okay, if you see the news, there's a lot of like this one, the advertisement. You remove this advertisement, just snap, okay, the title, the publisher, and also the content of your assignment. So you try to cram into one page lah, okay, for your news. Yeah? Okay. So the article, remember, first page, not from the website. Okay. So like this, so the first page, okay, so the first page of your research article, not from this website. I don't want screenshot of the website. Okay, I need to be like this, like article 5. But this article 5, they just snap very short. I think after questionnaire, there's still a paragraph here. Okay, so you're supposed to put in one paragraph, one first page of your article. Yeah, so that when I see, I read the abstract, I know that what's the content. Okay, so it is easier for me to cross check, okay, between your table, okay, your Google Sheet, and also your table, also the appendix. Okay, if I found that your article quite glaring, then I go to the abstract. Okay, if I still don't understand, then I will download your articles. Okay, I go one by one, okay, the contents of your article, because I don't want the glaring. Yeah, so make sure that when you read the article, read properly, and then try to digest what does the mean of the article. So you may use AI, for example, Notebook LM, to extract the informations in the article, but at least you must have 2 rounds to read the article. Okay, to get to know what are the contents of the article. Two round reading the article. If you still don't get the ideas, you may use the AI to help you to assist on where to spot the contents in that particular research article. Okay, so that's how you should use the AI properly. Okay, not just simply put your article and then direct copy and paste. Cannot. Okay, you must use the AI efficiently so that it can booster your understanding, it can booster your mind. Okay, booster your brain. Okay, to think as well. Okay, not just let the AI think for you. Yeah. Okay, so I open for the question. Okay, if you have any question related to your group projects. Okay, or everyone clear, okay, with the expectations of this group assignment too.
Doktor nak tanya,
Silakan, Intan.
kan yang kita kena review 5 articles tu kan, ada
Betul.
requirement yang macam doktor letak similarity and differences. Is it mean like dalam table tu kita kena differentiate between 5 article tu, lepas tu bagi tahu similarity of the content and differentiate dia juga ke?
Okay, so if you look to the article, you are required to critically review and synthesize the findings, okay, highlighting the key contributions. So apa contributions of the research article, okay, similarities and differences, okay, you will use these similarities and differences when you mention the gap, okay, when you mention the gap. Okay, so if you see your friends write-ups, okay, you have this one, right, the gaps, this one, the current gaps. Okay, so in the current gaps, you will talk about these similarities and differences. Yeah, so in the table, you only put the finding, okay, you highlight the contributions and also the implications. Yeah, so similarities and differences, you will discuss in the gaps. Okay, whether all these 5 articles having some similarities, okay, or maybe some article having differences in the sense that how they view something. Mungkin daripada 5 artikel you pilih tadi, yang 4 ni they think that integrity is significant to the government servant. Tetapi article number 5, they say that the integrity alone is not sufficient. There must be supported by another mechanism, and only the integrity can work. So that is differences. That's how the article say. Boleh, Intan?
Okay, faham. Kiranya current gap ni macam kita sum up untuk semua 5 artikel tu kan doktor kan?
Betul,
Pasal
betul.
current gap dia.
Betul.
Alright.
Kita sum up 5 artikel plus newspaper. Don't forget the newspaper as well.
Okay doktor, thank you.
Alright. Okay, sama. Okay, yang lain, any question? Silakan Harif. Ya.
Doktor, untuk jurnal artikel tu, ya dia punya jurnal artikel tu from Malaysian je ke or boleh luar juga?
Boleh luar. Tak semestinya Malaysia. Boleh
Boleh
luar. Okay, so this research
Okay,
research
doktor.
artikel cuma news saja Malaysia newspaper Malaysia. Tetapi yang artikel ni can be outside lah. Okay, can be in other countries. Tapi kalau you pilih integrity, let's say that you put the umbrella is integrity issues, so you pilih Asian countries. So you ambil Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam contoh. Okay, ataupun you nak ambil dekat US pun boleh. Ataupun you nak ambil integrity 3 dekat Malaysia, you nak ambil 1 dekat developed country US, 1 lagi dekat underdeveloping country Indonesia. So you dah nampak comparison kat situ. Dekat situ dah ada similarities, dah ada differences. You were saying that developed countries tak ada issue on integrity, tapi underdeveloping Indonesia ada issues. Tetapi kita Malaysia, we are mild. That is similarities and differences. Okay, sebab tu masa you select artikel tu, you kena baca supaya you nampak the ideas, okay, of different article, different ideas, kan dia bagi you different output. Boleh Harith?
Boleh, doktor.
Okay, sama soal lagi? Ada soalan?
Doktor, nak tanya.
Ya.
Yang untuk 5.0 yang current gap tu, kita kena involve 5 artikel dengan news sekali untuk bagi overall gaps kan, doktor? Bukan separate.
Bukan separate, correct.
Untuk news separate.
So together, yeah.
Thank you.